Good evening and welcome to everyone to our October 17th board meeting. And I'd like to call on the best dressed member at the front table, Corey Morris, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Corey. Corey is our student board representative from Cabrillo High School, for those of you who might be looking at his elegance for the first time. The board has been meeting in closed session regarding matters listed on today's closed session agenda. The written report forms of action taken, including settlement agreements LACE 4954E and LACE 4902E, are available for review upon request of the Assistant Secretary to the Board. We're anxious that those who are here for purposes of addressing the Board have an opportunity to do so at the proper time and in the order of their request. For those who have not already submitted a request, we provided forms in the back at the entrance to the boardroom and have additional copies here in the front at the Assistant Secretary's position. If you do wish to speak during the meeting, please fill out a form indicating your name, address, and the agenda item which you wish to discuss. You may also make a request to give testimony at the end of the meeting on an item not listed for discussion today. However, full discussion on any items not listed on the agenda will have to be delayed until such time as the item can be publicly posted in advance as a regular agenda item. If you wish to ask questions, please address items to the chair, not to individual members of the board or the staff. First item on the agenda today is public hearing on textbook sufficiency, and I'd like to call on our Deputy Superintendent, Ms. Chris Dominguez, for that.
Yes, Mr. President. I'd like to call Pamela Faces to the podium, who has been overseeing the Williams process for Monty, particularly with textbook. And per the Education Code 60119, she's going to present a report about the sufficiency textbook for Monty as of the 6th week of school, and give you background knowledge about where we are.
Mr. President, members of the board, superintendent, and executive staff. Although we have held a public hearing before on the Williams instructional materials legislation is mandated, this process is very different this year, and I'd like to submit it and to walk you through that process. By the 4th week of instruction, for each class and or period taught in our core areas, all teachers and all sites through the Williams legislation number of insufficiencies, if any. They are in those notebooks that you see on the cart. During the 5th and 6th weeks of instruction, the teacher questionnaires were submitted to the site principals, who reviewed them and worked with their level assistant superintendents and the Office of Curriculum, Instruction, and Professional Development to resolve any insufficiencies and order new materials if necessary. And I'd like to personally thank our assistant superintendent of the elementary schools, middle and K schools, and high schools for working so hard with me and their sites to resolve the insufficiencies. We posted a notice of public hearing as required by the Education Code during the 5th week as well. We are now at the 6th week where we are having our public hearing and presenting a status report of the sufficiency and insufficiency of instructional materials. At the end of the 8th week, all insufficiencies will be resolved and a resolution of sufficiency will be presented to the governing board. I've listed on your handout the core classes as indicated by Williams legislation. They are English language arts, mathematics, history, social science, science, and at the secondary level, foreign language and health education. Once again, the definition of sufficiency for instructional materials is that every student in the class has an assigned textbook and every student is able to take that textbook home whether or not homework is assigned. Or every student in the class is assigned a textbook that the student may keep at home, and additionally a class set is provided for student use. During the 4th week of instruction, we had our audit visits to half of our deciles 1 through 3, or our focus schools. In particular, Cabrillo High School was visited that 4th week of instruction, and the ACLU lawyers who were part of the settlement of the Williams case for the first time wanted to attend an audit and asked our permission and the LACO team to do so. Chris Dominguez and I were there during the audit, and it was so gratifying that the lawyers came back after visiting the classrooms all morning, raving about the quality of the instruction, the diversity of the classrooms, and the engagement of the students, as well as the sufficiency of textbooks and the facilities as well. They just couldn't say enough about how our students were engaged, how they were working collaboratively and cooperatively, and the level of instruction. I was very proud to be a Long Beach employee. Additionally, the remainder, the other half of our deciles 1 through 3 schools, were supposed to have been visited this week. I was contacted by the LACO Instructional Materials Unit, who asked if we would mind if they postponed our visits until the 1st week of November, which is outside of the 8-week window, because our paperwork was so complete that they felt enough confidence that they did not need to make those visits during the prescribed 8-week period, and they were needed to visit other districts who were not in as good a shape as we were. So we will not have the remainder of our visits until next month. The second page shows our status report. At the elementary level, the 4 core areas for all grade levels, our sites are 97% sufficient. 49 of our 51 schools have all materials, all students, all grade levels. At the middle and K-8 sites, for grades 6 through 8, we've added foreign language and health. We are 96% sufficient, 22 out of 23 sites, all materials, all grade levels, all students. At the high school, we are 72% sufficient. 8 of our 11 high schools have all materials for all students at all grade levels. Our current insufficiencies actually tell a good story. I'd like to walk you through them. You will see that our history, social science, we have a few insufficiencies. This is a new adoption, and the vendor has been back ordered. We have been promised that they will ship and arrive before the 8th week of school. Hamilton added Spanish for the first time to be taken at the middle school, and Realidades is the book that is used. It has been back ordered. We contacted the vendor and asked for air freight. They misread and shipped it ground and have assured me it will be there tomorrow morning. Our high schools, if you will notice, our insufficiencies are in 2 basic areas. One is at the 9th and 10th grade, where we have burgeoning enrollment. And at the AP level, the French is an AP class. The English at grade 12 is an AP class. And we have more foreign language because students are starting to take the 4 years of foreign language to prepare themselves for entrance to higher education. All of these insufficiencies have been ordered, and we have made contact with the vendor and have been assured that they will be in our hands, in the students' hands, by the 8th week of class.